having a blizzard or there's a reason for this.
I have a reason. I'm doing penance because I yucked on someone's yum.
Shame on you.
And we've talked about this in the past. And I violated two things. First of all, I yucked on someone's yum, as I said.
But you know
and
what?
I did
It happened.
I did it in a way that also can make some people feel extra frustrated and like they haven't been listened to, and there's an element of betrayal. So I need to apologize, and I'm working on doing it better. And so I'm going to say, as we film this yesterday, so whatever.
So December 5th.
Wednesday. Was it? No, Thursday. Thursday, Pantone announced their color of the year, which is Mocha Mousse, which is brown. And I made a reel saying that the sad beige influencers had won, and we were getting ready for a boring year of 2025 with just sad beigeness winning everything. And I have to make clear that there is Anne with good intentions who is trying to do the right thing. And then there is, and who works as an advocate in the wool world. And one of the things that I advocate for is making excellent use of natural brown wools, because that's typically a sign that the shepherd is breeding for health rather than for the whiteness of wool. And that's good for everything, you know? So use your lovely browns. But at the same time, there's also the old lady complaining about things, Anne, who has been watching the sad beige styles take over everything, where there's no real color in things. Everything's just a toned down shade of neutral, including brown. And you have to understand how these colors are picked.
I have no idea.
Okay, so Pantone is like, they set the technical specifications for every color.
You mean like the hex codes?
Yeah, like hex, like all the different like codes.
Who is this Pantone?
They've been doing it for ages and ages. And in 2000, they started naming a color of the year. And the way that this happens is twice a year. They have a secret meeting with industry insiders, and they all meet and discuss the color, what's going on in color at this stage in the game. And they choose a color that fits within that color zeitgeist. So I saw the announcement that Mocha Mousse has won as color of the year for 2025. And I took that as a sign that the neutral palette for everything aesthetic has won for the moment. Like, it is what is out there and sort of in control of everything. And I reacted. Now, as I reacted, I yucked on other people's yums. They have every right to like a super neutral palette. But I also I have a lot of friends and acquaintances and people I work with through what I do who raise brown sheep and have a really hard time moving brown wool. And rather than using it as a moment to celebrate brown wool, this other part of me took over and made this commentary. So I would like to apologize, first of all, to everyone who likes the sad beige aesthetic. You have a right to do that. Yes. And I would also like to apologize for not seeing this as an opportunity to really celebrate the brown, natural brown fleece.
Yeah.
And I wanted to show people.
I want to know if you're sweating yet.
I'm on the verge. I wanted people to see like how lovely brown can be. I really love natural brown wools. Yeah. I just did this. I just shared this the other day. You see me working on this. This is brown thin sheep wool. I dropped the Hogmanay project on the floor, but we'll look at that in a minute. This is chocolate from Morehouse Merino. Gorgeous, gorgeous brown shawl. This is brown Shetland from Jamieson and Smith that we talked about, mosaic knitting, that Jan is the one who got me in on.
Yes, that's the Cold Pale Moon shawl.
Yep. This is someone knit this and gave it to Goodwill. And I found it and I claimed it and got it for like $3.
And look at that sweater.
This sweater here.
That's
I shouldn't
lovely.
probably stroke myself like that on camera.
Wow.
This is a Shetland Trader vintage sweater that I got in Shetland, also at a Goodwill kind of thrift store.
Oh.
That is absolutely gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Traditional patterns. This is machine knit. This is from Wilma Malcolmson's company from back in the day. This is an example of a yoke sweater knit by a Shetland knitter.
You're like one of those Russian dolls with all the...
I am. So this is also Shetland brown. That was knit by machine up to here, and then a hand knitter does this part.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember how many layers I have. This might get risque really quick.
I doubt it.
And then
start to get
underneath
cooler.
I have the Calvin sweater that was also knit in Morehouse Merino chocolate. All of these yarns are available. All of these yarns look fantastic.
Wow.
The Calvin sweater I like because the Calvin sweater I like because it has this fun color detail going through that's very simple. It looks complicated, but it's just done with a variegated yarn and it just comes out like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this last layer off and then put one of the cardigans back on because no one needs to see my chubby arms. But I just wanted to apologize officially. I realized I woke up and like, as my eyes opened, I was like, I did not provide enough context with that reel about what I was really talking about. And sure enough, when I logged in,
blam,
I had been called to task by a few people about not seeing the positives of this for them. And so I do apologize. You're absolutely right. They're absolutely right. Everyone go out and buy brown wool this year.
And you know what?
We are human. Colors.
We are human. Sometimes we say stuff and react and don't think it.
I was a dope.
But we are human, and you are providing context. You are apologizing. You are owning your mistake, and you're sweating through it.
I did put, by the time this airs, they may be gone, but I did go through and put some recommendations in my stories with links to small wool producers who are working in brown that either matches or is very similar to the color of the year. So embrace the color of the year. Some of the examples I showed involve ways that you can incorporate other colors into that brown. And again, like neutrals can be just a very easy way to live and totally fine. And some people like are really attracted to neutrals just because they like those colors, and that's totally fine. And I should not have yucked on someone's yum. And I do apologize. It's a little raw because I had an experience just a few weeks ago that really like threw the sad beige aesthetic into my face.
Okay.
Where I had to go to New York to visit my daughter. She goes to an art school.
Right.
And I was in the middle of November and I was wearing all wool, and I have this skirt that's made out of felted wool sweaters that have been cut. So it's like an A-line skirt, and it's all these different panels of different sweaters. And I had my little red cardigan that's by Elizabeth Johnston. I can't remember, but it's like cables and lace.
Yeah, I remember that.
It had like a navy camisole under it, and I had maroon tights. And I was rocking this look. I was like art school chic. I was so cute. And I say this as a upper 40s woman. So 40, she can't remember how old she is right now. But we finished visiting with my daughter, and then we crossed over into Manhattan because we were going to spend the night there and go to see Six on Broadway. And as soon as we got out of the car, soon as we got out of the car in Manhattan, it was people in all black and people in the sad beige aesthetic. So like white sneakers, off-white pants, off-white top, camel, trench coat, off-white hat, you know, like just the full. And I walked out like a peacock. And I was just like, oh.
No, and you should have been like, woohoo!
Yeah, and I should have been, and I had to change anyway because it was cold. The sun went down and the temperature changed dramatically. So I did end up changing, but it was a moment when I got out of the car where I was like, oh, humans are very attuned to what everyone else is doing, and there is that innate kind of thing where you want to conform and you want to be part of it. And so I have been like this, not just about the all beige, sad beige aesthetic. I'm like this about everything. Mm-hmm. Every like hard fad that comes in, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it. And then anytime I'm around it, it's like that inner kind of like, I'm not fitting in. I'm not part of the group, but also like, I also don't care. But sometimes I care more than others.
And I think that's normal. I think that's normal unless you're just blissfully unaware like I am.
Well, and some people...
I'm just unaware. Totally.
I think it's a practice thing. I think some people, like, it's what you've been exposed to and what's been, like, drilled into you. Like, this kind of behavior, this kind of thinking was very much drilled into me as a child.
Right. But I do understand that because as a kid, you know, I went to 11 different public schools and I was always the new kid and I never fit in. I mean, I get it. And I think that those experiences shape us certainly. But when I say unaware, what I mean is that like, because of where I live and what I do, I don't spend a lot of time in a town or a city. And so I'm unaware of often what those trends are.
Yeah. And like where I live, I will see people dressing in trend, but I also see a lot of people who are in like 2 years ago trend or 5 years ago trend, or just like not wearing what they're comfortable in, you know? So there's like variety and you can wear what you want to wear and everything's fine. But like going into New York, it really was like,
for sure.
There were two looks, all black or the sad beige aesthetic. And I was just like, whoa.
Well, and your child is in that industry. So sure, you're a lot more aware than absolutely. Yeah. You know,
but for the record,
Wyoming,
those kids are for the record, those kids are like way more adventurous than the streets of Manhattan are. So
yes.
I was totally fine on her college campus. I looked like a mom who was dressed like a crazy person, but that was accepted.
That's okay. Hey, so before we forget, let's do the Instagram.
Yes. So I just had someone and then I accidentally clicked away. Let me see if I can get back. Okay. Travel_Lori. You are my winner for today.
Wow. Is it Lori, Lori?
Lori.
Travel_Lori. Excellent. Yay. Congratulations. Yes.
Thanks, Lori. Thanks for watching and going. I know so many of you are doing, like, you're being so awesome about going over and saying hi and following and all of that stuff. So thank you very much.
Yes, that's fantastic.
The interaction because normally all the interaction is on the YouTube channel. And of course we want the interaction there because that helps people find it. But I would always forget to go over and read the comments there.
So it's a lot of fun. I'm glad we decided to do this giveaway on your Instagram because that helps your growth as well, not just my channel. So I think that's great. So people need to head over there. And besides, Anne writes good captions. Your captions are better than mine.
I don't know. I saw that like today for yesterday's, I looked over at your post and I was like, oh, I totally forgot that Ripley had been on the show. So I went back and changed my caption.
Well, and honestly, by the time I'm done editing, I'm like, type. Yeah, I need to be more creative. Anyway, Thank you to people who are watching. I appreciate that a lot. And the other thing I want to mention really quick, I had a comment from somebody that asked about closed captioning. I was uncertain how that works, but I have the closed captioning set up by default on my channel. If you are a viewer that would prefer closed captionings, you have the ability to turn that on the lower right-hand side of your viewing window on YouTube. There's a little button that says CC, and you can just turn that on for yourself.
If you're watching on a device, it might, on the top right, there will be a little wheel for settings, and you click there, and then that pops up, and you can choose captions from there.
Yes, thank you. I don't often watch YouTube on my phone, so thank you for pointing that out. Okay, well, let's move on from Mocha Moose.
Yes, let's. So yesterday we logged off, and I checked my messages while we were still chatting, and I had a message from Ann Duell in Shetland saying that she was really glad that they got the pattern on a Thursday so that she could start it, because and it took me a second. I was like, wait, because she didn't say Thursday. She's like, I'm so glad we got it today so I could get going. And I was, we're on weird, like, what day is it kind of situation. So I guess they got it on a Wednesday. But anyway, it was Thursday as I read it. And I was like, what? And then it clicked. And then I told you, oh, Anne just messaged me glad that she didn't get the pattern on a Friday because she couldn't start. And you were like, what? So,
so yeah, we need the explanation here.
Yeah. So I wrote her back so here's the thing. So in Shetland, you don't start anything on a Friday.
Nothing new.
There's a very common belief / superstition / understanding that if you start something on a Friday, it will go wrong. And so you don't start anything on a Friday. If you know you're going to have to do something for the first time on a Friday, you do something with it on the Thursday. So some examples of this. A lot of times if people know they're going to have to cast something on the next day, they will get out their needles and yarn before they go to bed on Thursday, and they will cast on one stitch and set it aside.
Really?
Because then it started on the Thursday, and they're okay to pick it up and keep going with it on a Friday.
Interesting.
Anne offered, the other Ann Duell, offered an example from her life where they needed to start building a sheep barn, and the fellow with the digger arrived on Thursday, and everyone was kind of like to like make it start on Friday. And she said they were kind of like and the digger guy went ahead and did one scoop to test the equipment before he left to come back on Friday and get started. And Anne was like, we're pretty sure he is superstitious about that too, but we are too. So we were happy to see he did that. I have a friend who used to teach in the schools in Shetland, and her students would make a fuss about assignments on Fridays. So she would have them on Thursday before class was over, take out a piece of paper and write their name on the top so that the assignment was started before they had class on Friday, so that they wouldn't give her a hard time or whatever. So This is a very common believed belief, to the point that I have a very good friend in Shetland who won't say anything when she sees I start a project on Friday, but then she watches for the moment that it goes wrong.
And you're like, told you.
And then she'll give me like the smile or the, And I'm like, but the thing is, something always goes wrong with my projects.
Right. And now I'm wondering
Doesn't matter when I start.
I wonder if I cast on my quill tee on a Friday.
Oh, see, maybe you'll have to go back and see. But so I followed up with Anne. I was like, do you know where this comes from? And she has no idea. But she did Google about it, and she said, like, it just has been. It's just like Ireland has the same sort of thing going on. And like, it is a belief. It is like, a long line of hard knocks for starting things on Fridays, I guess. So they've just learned their lesson, and the rest of us maybe need to learn our lesson too. So
my mind is spinning because I'm like, Does it go way, way, way back to like the Norse gods and Freya?
Yeah.
On Friday, is Freya a little mischievous?
Is Freya a trickster? Because
I mean, I know Loki's the trickster.
You know?
Does it have anything to do with Catholicism and Good Friday? I have no idea.
I don't know. People, if you have actual information, put it in the comments.
Yeah, now I'm curious.
Or if this is a belief that you have, I would like to know, like, what area of the world you're from, or like, where are your people from? Like, where did your understanding of this come from to you?
Oh, yes. I want to know all about it.
Yeah. Let's learn more about this, because I am really fascinated by this.
Me too. And here's a question. Is it offensive to a Shetlander to call it a superstition?
Well, Anne used that word herself.
Oh, okay.
And I've heard other people use it themselves too. But just the fact that it's a superstition, like they still believe it, like they will use that word, but
yeah,
they still.
I mean, that's
avoid it. Yeah.
I mean, I mean, that's my understanding of the definition of superstition. It's a thing.
It is a thing. So.
Who knew?
So, and I did admit, I told Anne, I was like, I didn't plan it that way, but I did realize as I was planning that it, you know, the pattern was coming out before the Friday. I didn't, you know, like it was just a happy coincidence that I did realize as I was like writing up stuff for the.
That's wonderful.
Pattern, whatever.
So yay, people get to, right. Okay. So do you want to tell us more about the pattern? Did you get to work? Should we like switch up our order of operations a little bit? Did you get to work more on that yesterday, or were you busy?
I only got a little done, and I was going to do more this morning, but we decided to record a little earlier. So I didn't get.
That's okay.
I didn't get a ton done, but I did get started into the A.
Oh yeah, nice.
Thing. So B1 is done. So that B1 is down the bottom, that period pattern. And then this here is the start of chart A. And this is the big pattern that will get repeated every time.
And look at those.
So I had someone else. Look at those beautiful brown neutrals.
Right.
Things will shake up a bit, just so you know.
Okay.
I did have someone else make a comment like, oh, I hope I'm understanding this right. So just to clarify again. So you do a provisional cast on with scrap yarn. Then you begin knitting with the day 2 color, which is the lightest of the browns.
Okay.
And you use the white as the pattern color, the flucra as the pattern color. And you're going to do that through B1, chart B1, starting at the bottom and working up the chart. And then you go to chart A and you continue with those same colors for the first, I think, 3 rows. And then you'll see the shading changes, and that's when you change to the medium brown for the background color and keep the white as the foreground color. Keep knitting up, then go to the moret when you see the color change again. And then after you finish chart A, you go to chart B2 to the bottom of B2 and you knit your way up that.
Okay.
And now today we're going to get into the next set of colors. And that's when you're going to do chart C1, A, C2.
Okay.
So that's how
I will say my video for provisional cast on, I'll put that again in the comment description. So do you want to go ahead and show us the next yarn for that?
Yes. I was throwing so many knitwears around. I don't know.
You did have a pile.
I did have a pile.
Have you cooled off? Have you regulated your temperature now?
I have cooled off. Thank you. Yes. I was like, start the recording.
That was super funny.
So we have the long skinny packages we're getting into right now.
Oh, yay.
So day 7.
Nice sticker.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Look, it's a natural white again. Could we have a pattern for me? This is also from the Silly Sheep Company. So you just saw this the other day. This is the same thing I got the other day in Becky's.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Becky's yarn is in both of your advents. Nice.
Yes. So there's it in Becky's.
Beautiful. That's lovely.
Yeah. So that's today's Shetland Hogmanay Box color.
Nice. So let's see. Day 6 color was that orange.
Yes.
Look at that. That's some festiveness right there.
That is a pop.
Okay. And then we have our dark charcoal. Woo! Interesting. Well, lighter orangey.
Oh, nice. Like a lighter, brighter, like not as burny. Not as burnt.
Wow. Wow. It's been so fun to see other people's pictures. And I'm like, oh, when am I going to get that color? Because I haven't yet. And I keep thinking I'm going to get the color that they have, but I haven't yet. So I'm like, wow. Fun.
Nice.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And I'm starting the border on this other hexagon.
Very nice.
So this is the third one.
Yeah. Third one still. Yeah. Nice.
And I haven't fixed my mother's slippers yet. I will this weekend.
Yeah. That's a sit down and do project.
Yeah.
So now I have Becky's actual one.
Nice.
We're going to have 4 days of overlap as we do the Shetland Hogmanay box and we get into Becky's colors.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, because you have her Advent box plus her yarn in the other. Ooh.
I love this green.
That's beautiful.
How beautiful is that?
Hold that up again. That looks really good on you.
Spring grass, she's calling it.
Love it.
So that's our third green. So we have 3 pinks and 3 greens so far from Becky.
That's beautiful.
And then we have the one natural white that I have folded in half. So there we go. That's the start.
Wow.
Nice.
I'm visualizing your pirouette triangles.
I know. Yeah. That's going to look cool, I think, so far.
Nice.
I might start on it. My project has to be handed in on the 12th. So I might go ahead and make a start on it then, because I think by the 12th I'll have enough colors to start positioning.
Yeah, that's just next week.
Yeah.
Wow. Moving right along, aren't we?
Well, in theory we are. Last night wasn't super productive.
I know. I was really glad that my final presentation date got pushed out from Friday, which is today when this airs, until Monday, because our instructor canceled class. She had a sick child and canceled one of our classes. And so she's like, hey, let's push this out. We have a little flex time here. So I'm like, yay. Then I have the weekend to,
I hate to break it to you though. Today is Friday as we film this.
No. Yeah. Right.
This will air on Saturday.
Oh. See, we get so confused.
Every day we have to talk through this.
I'm like, we get so confused because we record for the day and we record the day before, but then we post for the day behind. Anyway.
And then we have to show pictures from the day before that. It's all again.
Okay, whatever. The point is I have a couple of extra days and I'm thankful for that.
That is the important thing.
Yeah. So, and thanks for meeting me a little early today so I can get a couple things done before I have to go to class.
No problem. I got up and snoozed my alarm multiple times today and then was like, well, I'm not going to exercise again today. Yesterday we had snow.
But you said it melted.
Well, it melted where the sun was in direct contact with it all the time, which is not my driveway. So about 40 minutes before sundown, I was like, I'm living in denial. I need to get out and shovel this because today and the next few days, it's going to be below freezing constantly. So if I didn't get out and shovel it, it was just going to be hard. It was going to freeze and just be dangerous and stupid. So I went out and it was only like 3 inches and some of it had melted, but a lot of it hadn't. And so I just had like my push shovel where you just like push it off to the side.
Yeah.
But some of the places took more muscles than others. So I'm counting that as exercise for you.
Well, yeah, for sure. I think so.
So maybe today I'll find some other exercise I can do, but it wasn't happening on the exercise bike this morning. The bed was lovely.
I woke up again at 3:30 and laid there and spinning.
I hate that.
I have a trip coming up and, I'm just spinning about it. I don't travel very often. And I I'm going over all the possibilities because there's only like, I could do this, I could fly here, I could fly there. What about timing? What about getting here to there? Blah, blah. And I'm messaging Anne, have you ever done Uber? Is that scary? I've never even been in a taxi. It's weird to get in a car with a stranger.
Yeah, it was all kinds of beginner consultation travel information yesterday.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
You get this app, you do this thing.
Yeah. But anyway, it'll work out.
It'll work out. You'll be
I'll
fine.
be able to share that more later about where I'm going and
details to come.
And how maybe we, not you specifically, Anne, but
I won't be around.
Meaning Purl Together people, we could meet up. I'll share more about that soon.
Yeah, and I'm very excited for you. I think it's going to be a really cool experience.
Oh, and the whole, if I get to go to Sweden or not, that is announced on Monday.
I know. I was looking at the calendar yesterday. I was like, oh, Jana finds out soon.
Yeah, Monday at 4 p.m. Central European time, which for me, Mountain time is 8 a.m. on Monday. So I'll be like texting my husband, wah, 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 or woo! We'll see. I mean, they said they got over 29,000 applications, so it's not.
Dang. Yeah.
But you can't win if you don't try, so that's fine.
That's exactly. With the game of wool, which again, I'm like 100% sure I'm not going to get chosen for, because I think I'm really stretching the resident requirement. But even still, I'm sure they have a ton of applications. And so it's just a numbers game and like what they're looking for and all of that stuff. But also just like going through the process of applying for something like this, it's a nice moment to reflect. It's like, why am I passionate about this? Why am I interested in this? And to really like lay it out for yourself. I thought that was interesting.
It's good to put it out there. It's good to put yourself out there and to practice putting yourself out there, because I've been applying for various things, like various festivals, Fibre festivals I would really like to teach at. And it's scary. And it's hard to, it's hard to put yourself out there. And I am not good at marketing. That's why your captions are better than mine. It's hard for me. I can teach all day long, but writing marketing copy and like promoting, I hate it so much.
Yeah. And it's hard because putting yourself out there for stuff like that, for anything, for like job interviews, dating, whatever, you only have so much control over what then happens, because people have different criteria. There's things that need to be boxes that have to be checked.
Yep.
Other things that might be checked. And it might like some of those boxes might be like in the case of applying to teach at a Fibre festival. It might be like, okay, we have 10 spots, but we have 8 people who are returning who have been teaching for 20 years at our festival. So therefore we have 2 spots, you know?
Right.
And it like,
and I don't have any way of knowing that. And it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And, I'll put a link if I can find it. Maybe I'm not your cup of tea. There's a song. I can't think of the gal's name. It's about maybe I'm not your cup of tea. Maybe I'm not your whiskey or something like that. It was anyway. Well, it's okay. It's okay. Because we have people here that watch us every day, and I'm very thankful. I'm thankful for them, and I love reading the comments. It's a lot of fun to get up early, have my coffee, and read the comments.
And scroll through, yeah.
And I like to do it in the afternoon. I'll have a little tea and read the comments, and I try to respond to the ones that, that need and have a question or whatever, but I definitely read them all. So same. And like, again, after the 12th, I'll have way more mental space to actually interact more in the comments. Yeah. I like reading your comments too. Anyway.
I'll read mine daily, and then maybe every other day I hop over to YouTube and I like read through all the comments that have accumulated on the videos themselves.
Well, and people should know that if on YouTube, if you're there commenting on this video, if you have a specific question for Anne, go ahead and ask it, because I will message you and be like, hey, go enter that person, Yeah. So I'll bring it to your attention if you haven't seen it, because you don't live on YouTube in the same way that I do. So, and that's totally fine. I it's so funny to me. I don't know why. I know it really appeals to some people.
And again, it's just like different people have different things they like. I'm way more audio. I think it's because I'm always multitasking.
Oh.
So I can listen to something and do 2 other things too. Yeah. Whereas if I'm doing a YouTube, and usually if I do watch a YouTube, I'll have it playing on my computer and I'll be in the other room. Oh. Like I'll have it in my headphones and I'll be cleaning. So I treat it like a podcast anyway. You know?
Well, and your format has always been the audio podcast.
Yeah. And I've always been drawn to like radio, you know, before podcasts, I was just always had a radio show or music or something on that I was listening to. Like it's my jam.
Yeah, cool.
Jam.
Cool. So, all right.
Everybody.
Well, you have a fantastic day and
you as well.
And now you get to go pick up all the brown stuff.
I know I have a whole pile over here. I didn't even put everything on. I couldn't get everything on that I have in lovely natural brown wool shades.
Yeah, that'll be our thumbnail today. Just saying. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.